Men have always used science to try to justify why they're better than women. The latest example? An anti-diversity screed by ex-Google software engineer James Damore. Women have higher anxiety and lower stress tolerance. Men have a higher drive for status than women do. Biological differences, such as prenatal testosterone, could explain the gender gap in tech. These are just some of the bullshit arguments Damore wrote in his letter. And it's the same pseudoscience peddled by eugenicists and white supremacists for decades. A lot of Damore's arguments cite findings of so-called evolutionary psychology, which is based on the idea that our psychological traits are the product of the same natural selection that shaped early human evolution. Evolutionary psychology has been used to justify everything from rape to claims that certain group of people are inherently smarter than others. It's also been criticized for shoddy methodology, ignoring cultural context, and jumping to conclusions on inadequate evidence. Using vague scientific terms like prenatal testosterone to explain the extremely complicated issue of the gender pay gap reads like classic evolutionary psychology. Of course, using science to justify male superiority goes back even further. Hippocrates wrote that women are less psychologically stable, or more bluntly, hysterical. Freud and his peers posited that women's biology explained their inherent insanity. Now, in 2017, a senior software engineer at Google called it their neuroticism. It's true that women are more likely to be anxious than men, but they're also more likely to have experienced physical and emotional abuse, both of which contribute to, well, anxiety. By Damore's logic, leveling the playing field for women is misguided. The candidates with the most desirable traits for high-stress, technically demanding jobs, men, should be selected. While the Google screed focused largely on gender, many of these same arguments have been used to justify racism. As much as this anti-diversity letter reeks of centuries-old junk science, it's important to emphasize that even today, women, non-binary people, people of color, and other minorities in STEM fields are still regularly confronted with bigoted attitudes wrapped in the guise of science.